This is the story of how I almost failed out of UCLA my first semester. So, I grew up Mormon, and that was my entire life and my entire framework. Everything in my life mattered based on Mormonism. Maybe because I felt like I needed to survive my family dynamic. And turned out I was right about that when I was 17 or so. I kind of had a moment of showing I was not very interested in the church, and my parents, no shade, uh, completely abandoned me emotionally and totally fucked my sense of security up with, like, I had been suspended because of religious reasons, and I went home with them thinking, okay, I have all this time that I'm not going to be in school. I'm just going to use it to, like, just, like, not bother anybody. I'm literally just going to sleep during the day and be up at night and just enjoy myself for a while and just make it the best thing I possibly can. Instead, they were, like, treating me like I was worthless, completely worthless. And it was so bad that I ended up having to leave my family home. And it was so traumatic at a young age, just being like, okay, like, my parents, I can't even live with my own parents. And it was just, I got with the wrong guy. I lost my virginity to the wrong person. Someone who was abusive, someone who was really bad to me, who I didn't even like, who was just there so that I could have a place to stay. I didn't see him like that at first, but once he started having sex with me, I realized, I really don't like him. I don't think that he's the good friend I thought he was. And he was very romantically into me, and I've never felt that way for him. We just kind of, once you live with somebody, then you kind of get curious, and boom, it happened. So, I'm with this dude. My parents have a turnaround moment of, oh, I actually feel like we value her. So, they came and got me, and I don't want to go with them. But it was my one chance at a Mormon mission, so I decided to go for it. And so I'm on this little Mormon mission, and I hate it. I hate it so much that I wanted to leave the second day. I couldn't stand it, but I couldn't stand feeling left out more. I felt like I would be completely isolated from my community and from my family if I didn't do it. And I felt like it's a possibility that this is the right religion. So, like, if God did exist, like, I want to take the chance to have my once-in-a-lifetime Mormon mission. That once-in-a-lifetime thinking stuff is so bad for you. It gets you to do stupid stuff. If you're doing something based on it being, this is the last possible time I can do it, don't do it. Because that's how I did my whole mission. And then I came home early, which was devastating. So bad. It was because I was writing sexual notes to the guy that I had not really felt feelings for, but I don't know, I was just sexually, I was looking for something to grab a hold of to get myself out of it. And he was there. And I was like, I got caught. I was not planning on getting caught. I just happened. The girls were ruthless to me. They chewed me up and spit me out. And if you happen to watch this, you're a bad person. You know who you are. All 1, 2, or 3 of you are horrifying human beings. And you knew it later when you messaged me saying sorry. So fuck you. Okay. There were these awful girls who were, like, criminally horrible to me. as they were sending me off my mission. I'm talking criminal. That's how bad. So, I'm going home from my little mission to parents who I know do not love me. And I'm feeling deeply like I cannot live with them. That is not possible. I need to find shelter. So I am dating like a fucking Olympic athlete to find some fucking shelter. Because I still didn't know how to do anything for myself. And I was raised in the Mormon church just to be a woman, not to be anything. Like, to have myself be taken care of by a man, And so I was not going to be working for myself. That was not my values. It was like a man takes care of me. So I meet two men. At the time I wanted to go after Middle Eastern guys. I don't know why. And I was curious about the whole polygamy stuff with Mormonism and thinking, this is weird. Like, if they're polygamous, why not, actually try it? I didn't end up trying it, but I was attracted to people who were in religions like that because I thought I gotta discover my own religion, and I was in a very big questioning mode of like, I don't know if I can live polygamy forever like the Mormons say. And so I was like, I gotta face it before I endure it for eternity. So I'm with these two men, and they both are just not... I felt like I really liked them both, but one had shitty parents who were like not gonna have some Mormon girl converting their little son to Mormonism. And they were like deathly serious about that because that was a requirement of mine at the time. Don't know why. I think this is just my like Mormon programming. And the other one, I found out had a wife, so I was like, okay, I'm not fucking with that. So yeah, I'm then having my parents tell me break up with both of them, they're not good for you. And then one of them decides to talk to my little Mormon university because I wasn't leaving their son alone, because I actually really wanted to be with him. And so feeling deeply in love, gets me in trouble with the honor code office. So they talk to the honor code and they tell them like a bunch of stuff that wasn't true about like me sleeping with their son, and that's enough to get you expelled. And so I was expelled. And my whole life and dreams and all of my motivation, I swear to God, shouldn't say that, but I swear to you, all my motivation was gone at that moment. I did not want to do anything. All my years in college had been wasted. None of my credits were going to transfer because I took a bunch of religion classes there. I was just taking classes to graduate because I was just being a woman, not being like, looking for anything but marriage when I was there. Yeah. So, and I didn't even really start looking for marriage because I have to go on a mission before I get married type of thing. So, all my life plans for the last multiple years had been fucked up. And I'm completely lost. And the guy who I had been with at the beginning, who was like, you know, offering me shelter, was just my friend, but then fucked me. And then the whole thing happened with him. He had been very, very bad to me when I was at BYU. He had followed me up there, abusive tendencies, not physically, but he was very, like, blackmailing me into staying with him through the honor code. So after I had all these years where I had put up with trying to deal with the stress of being blackmailed into being with a man I did not want to be with, and conforming to what he wanted just to keep BYU, I have some little family of some dude I'm dating completely fuck all that up. All of the emotional turmoil I had endured for maybe 2 years or more of emotional blackmail went to nothing, because they were like, at least this wasn't multiple years, okay? At least I wasn't getting like a PhD there or something. 2 years is nothing, right? So they fuck it up. All the work I had put in was totally fucked. And I have him aware that the honor code is fucking me over, because he had already tried once to get me kicked out when I tried to break up with him. And then he took it back to, like, make me happy and make me want to go back to him. And then this little family fucks it up for me. So I have, you know, him aware that now I'm out of BYU. So that's like a huge kudo for him. And then, at least I'm getting some love now. Thanks to boys being romantic and loving. Lots of these. There's more. I'm looking at them, trying to feel better about myself right now. So, I'm kicked out, and trust me, my Mormon family completely disregarded me with that. But you know what I did? Instead of clinging to the church, I decided to fucking look into it. And weirdly, the guy who had been so abusive to me was actually really helpful as a friend in getting me out of it. So he was helping me see, you know, things that were fucked up about it, sending me sources, and I was like, click. Shelf broke, bro. Mormon Stories podcast was super helpful. I related so deeply. It was like a soul speaking to another soul. Like it was like a, like they would speak about their experiences, and it was like I felt in like my deepest of my soul. I was just like, yeah, I understand that. More than I could ever have understood what was wrong about the church. It was people who also had gone through it who really helped me out. It is like, if I ever make money, hopefully one day, yeah, Mormon Stories podcast is like getting some massive fucking donations, because they're the whole reason why I'm happy now. So I told my Mormon parents I'm out, and I was expecting them to be worse to me. Instead, they actually had some respect for me. I was like, wow. I actually started getting a relationship with my mom back. Not my dad. He's very, I guess, in the Mormon game, you know. That polygamy gets him. So, he's a bit heartless. And so I kind of got my mom back. And then I had no schooling, and all I was doing was being depressed in my room. That was it. Wake up. Luckily, they left me alone. Unlike before, when it was torture to be there. And every single day, my dad made sure of it before, which was getting so bad to the point I had to leave. Instead, this time, they left me the fuck alone. So I was not able to be depressed and just be like, what the hell is going on? So I was depressed in bed every single day. Wouldn't get out of bed. I didn't shower for months. And then, maybe out of love, maybe out of hoping to get me out of the nest, I guess, they were like, you gotta get a job or you gotta go to community college. So I was like, fuck, I don't want to do that. So I choose community college. I barely had any philosophy classes at BYU. I just kind of did them because I was, into this guy who did philosophy and I wanted to write like he did. And I thought, oh, I want to be a philosophy major for fun. I was not really into it. I was just doing it because I was thinking, like, I was just trying to take the easiest philosophy classes. So I really wasn't that integrated into the major or anything. And all of my real philosophy learning started in community college. So I go to community college and it was insanely hard for me. It was so hard for me. Probably the hardest time of my life. Just, even though it was just me, school, and a bedroom. All the classes, I think, no. I had some that were in person, some that weren't. But, doing those classes was really hard for me. It was really, really hard. Because I didn't want to do it. But I was trying to, I was just trying to make it through. And it was hard. I was just not doing any work for as long as I could. And then I would finally realize I have to get my shit together right now. And I would do it. And my teachers would be really understanding. And I would be ridiculous about not doing my work and then trying to do it. Because I couldn't do it. And I didn't feel like my life was my own. I wasn't making my own choices. And that leads people to doing just terribly. And I understand why people who end up becoming really bad people do, because they didn't have choices they made on their own in life because they didn't have the stability. Like, I feel like that's like, although I'm not in my villain origin story, I can understand why people have that as their villain origin story, like not having control over their life due to being traumatized and like not having anyone supporting them, or basically no support, or basically like just no freedom or whatever, just becoming bad people. Like, I understand it. Like, I feel like it's a terrible thing for somebody to go through, even though it was only community college and it shouldn't have been so bad. I was so fucking messed up. Worst time of my life. even though I really loved the teachers and the classes and the campus and stuff. It was horrible. It will always be the hardest time of any of my academics because of the situation I was in. So I get to this point of developing like serious mental illness and paranoia, and I'm still lost religiously. I have no concept of God. I'm paranoid all the time, so paranoid. I would have these moments of like, oh, they were horrifying. It was just very bad mental illness, and like, I don't know who else goes through paranoia. I'm gonna Google it. How often do people go through this? It's thinking and feeling like you're being threatened in some way, even if there's no evidence or very little evidence that you are. I was so paranoid. All the time. It would horrify me. Like, I would be so scared. I could barely make it through the night. It was so bad. And so I've come to this meeting ground of, hey, as a woman, you actually need to work. You can't be this Mormon woman girl, blah, 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 who just relies on some guy to take care of her, because I kind of realized just through my little Gen Z education of just hearing other people's experiences and realizing the world is not at all what Mormonism painted it to be, that I better just stand on my own 2 feet. So I had always been an A student just because I liked trying to be perfect, and I stayed an A student, you know, and so that was helpful in deciding to actually provide for myself. But that was a really big crossroads, deciding, hey, did you know that you actually have to work? Yeah, you're not just gonna be a mom. So I was like, okay, fuck. I'm gonna have to get my shit together. So I decided I'm gonna follow my damn dreams, and I'm gonna be a stripper. That's what I wanted more than anything. I wanted to get into the world of non-sexual sex work. You know, I thought that was the bomb, dude. I was like, that's everything that I could possibly want. Are you kidding me? That sounds amazing. So that was my dream. But I was conflicted because I didn't know, do I follow Jesus? Who is Jesus? In Mormonism, I had a fake Jesus I was following that wasn't really the Jesus everybody else believes in. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know if this Jesus is going to be okay with me doing this, and I don't know who to believe in. I don't know anything. So, excuse me. So I just thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't go against what he says and make men lust after me. The scriptures mostly condemn men for the lusting, but I didn't really want to be involved in any sort of possible sin, so yeah. I just decided, like, you know what, I'm gonna ask God for a miracle to see if he exists. I did. Miracle happened. I was like, great. There's still a possibility that this little questioning of a miracle and then getting it was just out of the kindness of my professor. But I took it as a sign that God did exist. And I don't know why, I just assumed Jesus existed. So, like, as the savior of the world and everything. So I just went with that. I felt like, oh, maybe God was, like, showing me through, like, these YouTube videos he'd recommend to me. Like, I still really didn't know anything. I was just surviving, leaving Mormonism. It's harder than you think. So I was like, oh, hell yes. I'm gonna be a stripper, but FAFSA. I better finish college first, because if I start making a bunch of money, if I ever did want to here's the last minute thinking again. I was like, it's my last chance to get college without having to pay a bunch for college. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to college. I'm gonna like transfer. So I worked hard to transfer. I took all the classes I needed to transfer. First time I applied, I didn't do the right stuff to transfer. I didn't know you were supposed to do follow-up stuff after you put in your application. I thought they'd say you're in and then you just go. There's apparently a bunch of stuff you gotta do. Like, you have to send in just weird stuff, like after accepting they have a whole checklist. I was not doing the checklist, dude. Come on, I'm fucking traumatized. You think I'm gonna do a checklist? I'm trying to barely make it off one lily pad to the other, and you are making that lily pad way too fucking far, dude. So, I didn't make it the first year, because I didn't follow up on anything. And then the next year, my, like, lifelong request to God came true, and it kind of made sense of the rest of my life. Because I had asked when I was at BYU, like, please, please, please get me out of here. I want to go to a real school. A school I really want to go to, like UCLA. And then boom, I get into UCLA. I'm like, okay, God, thank you. So, I need a break.